Hi, welcome to the ITVamp podcast. So, I'm the project server girl, Sharon Summers. You guys know me, you've known me for a lot of years. Those that haven't, nice to see you. I'm going to talk about Project Server's new version today in 2019, but I'm going to take it from a technical perspective for those that have to do installation and configuration. All the other companies have shown you new features and everything, so I'm sure you had a chance to look at those, to those blogs and to the articles that Microsoft has posted. So for those that want to be up to date with what's happening, listen into my podcast, and I'm going to tell you some important things about the installation. Okay? Thanks. I actually have something, I'm keeping it for nostalgia. This is my 2002 Microsoft Project Server CD from the partner program at Microsoft. We would have the software to install and show people within our kit. And I've been installing since before. This is like one of the first versions, but there was a version before this. We installed Project Central. We used DB2 as a background database for it. So I've been with Project Server for years. It's what I do. It's my tool. It's my favorite tool in the whole wide world. So anybody asks, they wonder why I'm so excited about it? Because this is what I do. This is what I love. This is something that puts things in order, right? There's a brand new world for it now, and I'm doing a presentation today. Everyone has already gotten to you within the last few months on the new features. I'm here and going to talk about not new features, but mainly the back end of it, right? What has to be done differently and the skills that are needed to be able to do that. I install all servers. My last full installation where I rolled out all the different modules for a company. I installed a SQL server, I installed a SharePoint server, I installed the project server. There's a surprise for 2019, but it's going to take a certain skill. And I'm going to talk about it in my presentation. Okay? This is episode 1, Shine the Light, Shining Light on Project Server 2019. Okay, let's go. Hi. I'm going to talk about Project Server 2019. This is shining a light for the installers and configurators on Project Server 2019. Welcome to Shining the Light on Project Server 2019. I'm going to talk about the back end. This is for the installers and configurators because there's some nuances to this new version. The way you install will be new, and there'll also be some nice new features that you can get from Office 365. But you have to be an admin on 365 in order to get those features. And we'll talk about that again today. Here's a Microsoft wheel. For those that haven't seen this, there are many components to Project Server. Most of you have probably installed maybe, I'd say, 1/12 of the system. It's a very large system, everyone. It does finance, it does demand management, it'll do project prioritization. Are you really actually walking through demand and prioritizing your projects with the tool? Many organizations are not. They're mainly using it for projects. And they have a portfolio because their portfolios used to be in Excel. But now we have the server. So there's a lot more things that you can do with it. Project Server 2019 helps all of your organizations get started. You have major investments coming up for 2019, going into 2020. You want to make sure you're looking at all those investments. And you want to make sure you're managing them, looking at the redundancies. Where are you duplicating the same efforts? Maybe in another department. There's another department that maybe bought off-the-shelf software, and you've got a developer in another department that's actually developing code for you. So take a look at everything that's in that portfolio. It allows you to collaborate with others very easily. So start and deliver those projects. Start winning. So this includes a Project Server 2019 Cal, and 2019 enables you to keep projects organized and on track. Of course, you've got your cloud licenses if you're on the cloud. You've got premium, professional, and essentials. Many of these different packages offer you different things. So when you go to Microsoft or you talk to your agent at Microsoft, ensure you're getting what you need for each different type of user. I normally, at every organization that I go in, take a look at their licensing. I do a licensing list. I'm going to determine whether licenses are moving around from one user to another. And if so, I make sure that if it is a full project manager that they need professional, they get professional, right? And they want to be able to publish to the server. That's the most important thing. So get ready, everybody. Get ready for Project Server 2019. It's here. So this year, get your budgets together. You should have already had your budget together last year for this year. At least end of fourth quarter, you should have been done. If you're late and you're still doing it now, it's okay. Just make sure you plan for the things that you're going to need. There is budget planning this year associated with the Project Server upgrade. You don't want to have disparate versioning. I talk about this every year. I've been talking about disparate versioning since I was at Merrill Lynch, and that was in the 90s. And people are still doing disparate versioning. At that time, Merrill got it right. They actually made sure that if they were on an operating system, that everything kind of went together with it, right? You want to do that. You want to make sure that your OS is where it should be. Because now we're talking about our SharePoint 2019, right? Those that are still on 2010, there's going to be a little way for you to go. You won't be able to do the features in 2010, and 2013 doesn't even upgrade to this. So you've got to move up to 2016, so be ready for that. So here's what's interesting for us installers, right? Way back when I used to install the early versions, I had to install Project Server, PWA, my web server, of course. I had to install SQL, I had to install my OS, and I had to install SharePoint as separate servers. Well, there's something special now. I just got finished last year doing a project, and I did the install, and I did many installs, made sure that SQL was done and SharePoint was done. Well, now there's a little surprise. So in previous versions, Project Server was installed separately after you installed SharePoint Server. So now SharePoint Server is a requirement, right? And you are going to do that as part of this installation for Project Server. So now it's kind of an all-in-one process. So there's a caveat to that, though, everyone. Those people that installed SharePoint Server, they know SharePoint Server, what settings are required. Those people that installed SQL Server, they already knew what settings were required. But what I would do is I would have a SQL person in the room with me while I'm doing my install. I know what I want on SQL to make sure I have available the things that I want to do on Project Server. Let me repeat. There are things I needed on the SQL Server, right, to be active, because I had certain things I wanted to do on the Project Server. Same thing goes for SharePoint Server, and just take a look at all your things that you need to do. Go to Microsoft and make those adjustments. So, Enterprise versus Standard. Project Server 2019 can only be enabled in the Enterprise version of the SharePoint server. All right, so, there's Enterprise version, there's a standard version. Don't use a standard version. Make sure you're using Enterprise, or you will not be able to enable Project Server 2019 in SharePoint. If you only had the standard license, you will not be able to enable Project Server 2019 in SharePoint. So know that that's important. That's something that you're going to have to know, okay? So the OS and database systems, as I just talked about, your operating system and your DB system. Windows Server 2016 standard or data center. Windows Server 2019 standard or data center. So either 16 or 19. So the supported database servers, of course, are SQL Server 2017 for Windows services, or SQL Server 2016 with SP1. Service Pack 1 would have to be there. Now, I always make sure that analysis services is set up because of my reporting. And I'm also building the cube. So those are things I always want. So that's what I meant by you being in a room with the SQL Server person, telling them what you need for your install. Those are the things you're going to have to do. And if they're not aware of what it is you need, you have to tell them. Or take the reins and take the server install and do that yourself. I've done that. I've installed SQL because I know what I need. All right. Brand new and exciting this year, right? Microsoft Edge, of course, always worked. Microsoft Internet Explorer always worked. We've got Google Chrome now, the latest release, and I'll tell you why. Those people that have an iPad, there are iPad apps for Project Server. So Firefox works and Safari. So note that almost all browsers now, basically the most popular browsers are now working, which is great. That's something we've been waiting for. Email is exciting this year. Now, no, there were always SharePoint notifications. Now there's these really special informed notifications via email. So you can see when anyone's been in your plan and what they've been doing. You can see your last change to a plan. So say you were in your plan and you created a cyclical error. Those that know project know how those occur. You can actually see the steps you took when you're in the plan by getting a notification of the latest changes within the plan. So that's something really, really cool. Let's see how that works. In the project app, you would go into the settings to turn those notifications on. So for the people that are actually setting this up, making sure that under the policies of those email settings, select the notifications to be turned on, right? So you're going to have some steps to do. Make sure that that's done. This is exciting for me because my favorite place to be in the tool is with the configuration of my custom fields. That's like my favorite thing to do, creating the fields. So there are field limits that are increased for us now. And again, this is for the back-end people. These are for the administrator, installers, configurators. This is geared towards the people that have the technical work to do. This isn't the front end showing necessarily a feature and how that works. Everyone's doing those videos online. You can take a look at them. This is more technical. This is for the back end. This is where I spend my days, my 24/7 on the back end of the server. So this is in the administration of your settings when you go in to create your field. So there are 450 text fields, 450 lookup tables, 450 of other custom field types. Okay, so the cost, date, duration, number flag, etc. So this is where I like to spend my time during the day. I spend my time in here. Most of my day is spent in here. Your compatibility. So look, it's going to tell you. You've got Project Server 2019 that's compatible with Professional 2019, Professional 2016, and Online Desktop Client. You have Project Server 2016. It is compatible with Project Professional 2019, Project Professional 2016, Project Online Desktop Client, Project Professional 2013. Project 2013, notice it's not compatible with 2019, compatible with 2016, Professional, and 2013. So make sure you're, again, moving things along, making sure you're moving them along as you should be, because everything's not compatible with everything. Honestly, for those people that are on 2010, get off it, get rid of it, move up. You would skip a platform and go all the way to 2016 to have the capability of doing 2019. I'm all for going all the way. Get your new books, get your training, call us in, have us do your upgrades, have us put you in the new world. Project IDs is a little bit different. Now, there were project IDs in the system. I was at the city of Philadelphia, and someone asked me, are automatically project IDs created? And I said no. My answer was no, because they weren't automatically created. Field was there. You could go give a number, assign a number, come up with a naming convention, numbering convention, and you could create them, but they were not automatic, right? there were some things that I had to do in the system to get them configured. Now you can set project IDs on the inception of the project creation. When you do create project, the number can automatically be assigned. Again, you should set up in advance to configure that if you would like to. There are many ways to configure that depending on what you're doing, depending on how you're setting up project IDs in your system. And so the project ID screen is here. If we take a look at it, you can actually set that up as an EPT. Now, by being part of the EPT, the administrator can add it to the views as well, which is a pretty good special treat for us to add it to the views. Now, you're going to hear about this new exciting thing called Roadmap. Everyone is installing Roadmap, and you're going to see that with many present. I think Gary Shevitz did a thing on Roadmap. Wow, Microsoft did a thing on Roadmap. Some of the most valuable of Microsoft have shown you the Roadmap. It's pretty intuitive, but it's an Office 365 Project Online Roadmap. Now, here's something that I want to say. There's administration on the SharePoint side, administration on the project server side, administration on the Office 365 side. And never the twain shall meet. Rarely is a project server administrator also the Office 365 admin. With that being said, I could see me like calling, say, oh, Office 365 admin, can you turn on the Project Online Roadmap for me? Here's what he's going to say. And normally it's a he. Don't get all excited here. Normally it's a he. He's going to go, the what? And I'm going to go, I need you to turn on the Project Online Roadmap. And he's going to go, the what? Okay, look. I know what that is. You're going to know what that is, but you don't have the admin rights to go and do that. So you need to walk your Office 365 admin through turning that roadmap on, and there are steps to doing that. Go to Microsoft.com, go into your TechNet, take a look at the steps because they're there. Let them know how to turn it on and how to turn it off, okay? It's roadmap turning on like a toggle, turning it off like a toggle, and making sure that you save after that. So just walk your Office 365 administrator through. Please just walk them through. No offense if there happens to be a girl doing the job, okay, cool. But normally it's a guy. I've been doing this 35 years, and it's always been a guy in the server room. I'm normally the only girl in the server room. I'm sure there's girls in the server room now, but not many. There never has been many. That's real. Okay, so notice I said 3 different administrators. I didn't even get to the screen yet, but here we are. For your administration and security options on the administration side, the Office 365 admin, the SharePoint admin, and the project server admin. You have those 3. Microsoft is blending its environment now, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that blend, okay? I really am. I'm going to talk a lot about that blend because it really is important. So what do I mean by blending the environment? Okay, so when I go back to when I started installing this application, when PWA was Project Web Access instead of Web App, back then you had to think about how you were combining things and how you were sort of having all these things kind of disparate as well. But now that everything is completely blended, it leaves, I'm getting too many questions from clients that really don't understand the environment. They think that Project Server is SharePoint. It's not. It's its own application that sits in the SharePoint platform, where there are SharePoint features and there's functionality within SharePoint. And the online version sits within the Office 365 environment, where there are Office features as well. But Project Server is not SharePoint. Project Server is not Office 365. It has its own configuration, its own installation, its own features. There is certification just for Project Server. I'm certified in just Project Server. My manual is this big. I had a conversation at a company, and it was at a company that wanted to go out and roll out Project Server for clients. And they had SharePoint staff, they had me. Some have one thought that I was the SharePoint collaboration configurator. Now, don't get me wrong. I can configure and install the SharePoint, and I can also, and not just the SharePoint project server, the collaboration, workgroup collaboration. I can actually do that, but that's not my expertise is on the project server side. So my SharePoint server is for my project server. All the features I have to do with project sites are there. Everything that I have to do with web pages for, for everything for project is there. That's my world, right? But I'm not the intranet collaboration site builder for all your document libraries for the standard SharePoint. That's not me. I've done it. I could do it. But my world is a project server world. So I can link out to your workgroup collaboration sites, which many times I've done that as well. I've done dashboards there as well. People that don't really use all the project server, which have been using SharePoint for the PMO sites, which is the old way of doing it. People still do that. Don't understand that on the project server side, you have project sites and you can do document libraries and everything else as well. So this leaves a lot of confusion because people are confused. Organizations are confused. Roles are also confused. An admin is not an architect, is not a developer, though someone may have all those gifts. They're different jobs. Your BA is not the PM. People try to mix them up. You go to school for something different, right? If you are an expert, you're an expert in that one thing. I'm an expert in Project Server. I've been doing Project Server since inception. So this is what I do. So know that now it's going to make it a little bit more confusing. Now, if the install is done at once, there's blended administration duties between the three. So please be patient with your admins and the people that are doing the configuration, because they may need to come to you and say, can I talk to your Office 365 guy? And you're going to go, why do you need to do that? Well, yeah, I have to tell your Office 365 guy what to do. I have some things I need turned on. So know those are going to be conversations that now take place that maybe they didn't before. Oh, there's something great. I'm sure you've probably seen it. It's the Office 365 Portfolio Dashboard. Now, it is not internal to the project server. Again, we're talking about these blended things that are happening. Now, no, there were always apps you could buy at the SharePoint store for project server. They've been there. Most people haven't decided to go and do that. Make sure everything is installed to make sure that you can do that. To install the portfolio dashboard, this is a SharePoint app, which is great. I love the apps. Oh my God, there's Apple apps, there's iPhone apps, there's iPhone apps. This is really cool. So under your site settings, you would click add an app. Make sure your app page is available to make sure you can download from the SharePoint store. Out of the box, that's one thing that some servers did not have availability of doing, the things I had to do to turn that on and make sure that you can set that up. That portfolio dashboard's really cool. As you can see, it looks almost like BI, believe it or not, which is a great thing too. And health check instead of mic check. Health check, everybody. So Office 365 people, you need to turn this on for me and all of your other configurators. So here's a view of what the dashboard looks like on the Apple iPad, the best of both worlds. I love my Safari. I'm not just a PC girl, I'm an Apple person too. So to me, this is like the greatest thing. I get to enjoy the best of both worlds. Now you have those three security groups: administrations for project web app, portfolio managers, and also portfolio viewers. So here's a little warning. Project permission mode and security groups cannot be used to grant access to the Office 365 portfolio dashboard. Now, what does that mean? Again, Mr. Office 365 admin, I need you to do something for me, please. Right? No, you're going to have conversations with the other groups to make sure that you get the security set up and everything you need to grant access to. That Office 365 person is the one that can set up the dashboard for you, can enable it. There's a new team assignment pool. The team may be assigned to tasks. There'll be multiple pool members. Administrators can configure this by creating a lookup table and associating that lookup table with the team name called custom, the team name custom field. Task also can be added to a member's timesheet. And look at the support blog to find out more about that. Resource plans will no longer be available. So know that now everyone's, of course, using the engagements. For developers, project server interface class, PSI class members and extensions are not supported. So I've been in business with ITVamp, everyone, since 2002. I've been installing since the inception of Project Central, which was the first version. DB2 code had to be written to make things work back then. Some really cool people work with me that are really still friends of mine today. Ira Brown came on board when I was at Covance, and we installed the first Project Central, and he actually sat side by side with me while he was writing code. I was looking. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I used to write in JCL and CL and RPG for AS400, but I didn't know anything about the code that was needed for DB2 at the time, so Ira came in and did that for us. He was with Project Assistance, his company that he had built at the time, and we became friends. We're still friends. So shout out to Ira. So let us design your EPM process framework. If you don't have an EPM process and you don't have processes, I'm going to do another video on that so you understand what I mean. So if you don't have a forecast process, how can you forecast? If you don't have a project prioritization process, what are you prioritizing? What is your ranking? Have you created your rankings? If you haven't, you're not doing it. It's another part of the system you're not using. This year, I'm going to start talking about how to adopt you into using all of this tool. You're not using half of it. I bet you're not using half of it. No, I know you're not using half of it. So let's get you on board. Besides upgrading, start to get you with those processes that you need. We do that here at ITVamp. We come in, we do a framework for you. I did the financial process over at Merck, and then we're able to get things going over there. So it's been really fun for me. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's great working with you. Let us help you. We have some new packages here at ITVamp this year. PPM tools evaluation. We'll assess every tool. I just had a conversation with someone. They wanted to bring me in to work on. Now, I not only do the Microsoft tools, I do other PPM tools. And a company had made an assessment. They didn't do an assessment. They picked a tool for whatever reason, and they never did an assessment. They never did an evaluation. How do you know that tool's going to work for you? So I do assessments. I do a portfolio fast track. So in 90 days, I can build a portfolio for you. SDLC Academy, you can build your SDLC. I do Project Net Cloud 9 setup, and we do ePMOs out of the box. So this is Sharon Summers at ITVamp. It's been fun talking about Project Server 2019, and thank you so much. Call us at 609-372-3524 or go to www.itvamp.com. We revamp your IT with PMO methodology. Thank you.